first type of class and virtual meetings through our learning management system, but for the purpose of this project, our class will be an art history class. Next, please. Several of the great artists of the time actually studied and worked in Florence during the Renaissance, including Michelangelo, Botticelli, and daVinci. Florence was also home of the powerful Medici family, who were among the biggest patrons and commissioned many works, providing a livelihood for many painters, sculptors, and artists. Next, please. On the first day of this art history class, we will be visiting our virtual Florence to meet Leonardo da Vinci on the Ponte Santa Trinita Bridge, which was actually pictured in the last slide. Here we will find him working on painting the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa was painted in Florence by da Vinci between the years of 1503 and 1508. Also pictured on the slide above is a self-portrait of da Vinci. He painted this in 1512 while he was living in France. At this time, we would allow the students to ask da Vinci questions about his life, Florence, or his work. They would be able to interact with him. Up next is Sarah, and she will continue with the art history class.
Hey everyone, just checking my mic. Can you all hear me? Okay, great. Okay, thanks Jana. Alright guys, so are we on the tutorial slide? Okay, so what the students would do after they've spoken to Leonardo da Vinci, they've met him, learned about his life, and they've witnessed firsthand while he's painting the Mona Lisa, what the students would do as an activity, they would watch a video tutorial which we've created, but obviously we can't watch it here, but it's something in our PowerPoint if you do want to go and watch it after the presentation, or after tonight I should say. And what they would do is they would follow steps for drawing an actual portrait using facial proportions, not unlike what da Vinci did when he painted the Mona Lisa. So they would be following the steps in the video tutorial, and then they would just create a portrait, whether it's themselves or someone else. So sort of in a way they get to make and take something with them. Like that. Next slide. So what the students would do with their artwork, or the portrait that they make, they would get to display it in a gallery on the virtual campus. And what would happen is their peers, or maybe even it would be open to the public theoretically, they would come in and they would view all the artwork that all the students had created. And what they would do is they would be voting what they felt showed first off the best overall work. And second voting would be towards the person who perhaps followed the steps the best in the tutorial and exhibited the best use of facial proportions, or just applying what they learned from da Vinci and also from the tutorial and the lesson itself. Next slide, please. So that was essentially the badge, and voting for the best of show would be our assessment strategy. And like I said, the first badge would go towards best use of proportion. So those who took our lesson, followed the steps, listened to da Vinci, analyzed his artwork, and was able to follow the steps and put that into their own piece, they would win the first badge. And the second badge goes to the best overall artwork. Next slide, please. All right, so now when we come to why do this virtually. So for the very first thing that Jana and I thought of, well, we get to time travel, and that's not something that we get to do in, say, a textbook, at least not in such an immersive and involved way. So our thoughts are, if we get to do this, we get to do time travel, but also as a teacher, this is something, it's a good pedagogical practice, a good way to reach many different types of students or differentiation. So we can reach students, or student learners, I should say, of all types, so auditory, visual, kinesthetic, social, et cetera, et cetera. So students who like to take notes, be doing something hands-on. Well, they actually are making something hands-on. Essentially, they're photographing their artwork after they make it, and then that's what we can display in the gallery. There's all types of ways to teach to every kind of learner using a virtual environment like this. And also, something else that we came up with, this is something that you could teach to students, I'd say, ranging from middle school to adult ages. And what Jana and I also found in the early stages of planning for our virtual campus, that we had so many ideas of what we could do with this. And not just with art history students, but we can reach students of all types of majors in college. So primarily art history, but you can also reach students who are studying history, economics, like Jana mentioned, the Medici family, or the Bank of Italy, architecture, theater, language studies, religious studies, engineering, and so on. As we know, daVinci was also an inventor, and not just an artist. So there's so many things that you can get from this virtual campus, and I think it's so versatile. It doesn't just limit us to art specifically, but we can play around with a lot of different aspects with this. Jana, is there anything that you would add?
Not at all. It's just a very virtual learning environment. We've added some extra resources at the end, and we also got some of the pictures from there that we used in our slides, as well as some of the research. Actually scheduled John F. Kennedy conspiracy theory debate that we held in the Rotunda one evening. Students actually took turns going up onto the stage, talking at the mic, stating their cases, whether they were for a certain conspiracy theory or a different one, and it turned out to be a really great night. Everybody felt that they were more engaged in it than if we would have just done it on Blackboard. It was a great success.